Is it okay?
Yes.
Okay, fine. So the thing is, we are going to see about CI, Class Manager today. So CI Class Manager is the place where you're going to define the attributes, relationship, and most of the part of the CIs. So here it is the Class Manager to create the CI classes, to update the identification and reconciliation rules, to display CA relationship, and to configure the CMDB health settings. So now we are just going to click on the hierarchy. Here you can see mostly all tables in the CMDB CI. For example, if I go to Windows, in the sense I could see all my Windows server over here. And if I go on Linux, in the sense it will be showing me the Linux. But you can see the Linux server classification over here as from CMDB. It just has a child called hardware. From there, it is derived as computer server. Under server, we are having the Linux server. For example, if you want to create a CA class and identification rules and reconciliation rules for this particular Linux server, you have to come and search for the server. Click on that. So once you did over here, you could see the basic info of the Linux server. It is showing you as display name and the table name of that, and also the icon. You can select and choose the icon as of you like from this icons. Okay. From this icon you can choose and select the icons as you like. And then once you're done on that part, you could have saved this record. And the next one is the important on another important one is the attributes. Okay. In the attributes you can find all, derived attributes, and added attributes. So derived attributes is, you know that every CI's parent it's the CMDB CI. So what are the fields that is coming from the CMDB CI table? Those fields will be over here. Around 110 CIs are coming from the parent table of CMDB CI. You could see attribute assigned to list, many kind of CIs, I mean CI, CMDB CI fields. Attributes are nothing but the fields we have in the CMDB CI. Added in the sense, what are the extra customizable field you added with this particular table? That is actually so called added. Over here we do have around 110 fields, and here in the added one we have only one field as kernel release. And here in the on the total, if you see, it is triple one. Okay. So it is showing you the how many I mean fields you have added and how many attributes you are having over here. For each an attribute, it has a different type of functionality. All these things you can check it out. The next one is the identification rules. The identification rules is the helps you to find what needs to be identified over here. Whether what type of things you are going to identify over here, and all the related entries are over here. So identification and reconciliation are the two main important topics in the CMDB CI. For example, take an example. You are running the discovery. Now each and every running of the discovery, the session probe will be throwing the open port, whether it is a Windows machine or Linux machine. But still in the Windows and Linux machine we do have multiple things, correct? That is a Windows OS, Windows many thing we have, correct? So let me show you that. Here, if you go and see, you do have the class called computer, but still you try to find out the Windows, any type of Windows class. I just call the Windows alone. Just give me 1 minute. Can you find how many things we have? We have Windows cluster, we have Windows cluster node, we have, and Windows OS we have. So these are the three different Windows table we have. Even though we find it as a Windows machine or Windows thing, we need to find it what version of Windows this one, whether it is 2018, 2019 version, like that. So this identification rules help you to find what type of device it is. So this will be helping you to find out what type of, things you're going to do with this one. Okay, like for example, the first one is you're going to see about the serial number and serial number type, and the next one you're going to type about the hardware and the serial numbers over here. So you do have multiple identifiers for this one. Let us see these things in the identifier table of ServiceNow. Under identification and reconciliation, you can find the CI identifiers. In the CI identifiers, our table name is CMDB underscore CI underscore Linux Linux underscore server. Wait, let me check the table name correctly. Basic info is, let's talk about Linux. Okay, server, CI identifiers. Each and every section has a different identifiers running on it. We could see multiple things over here. 1 minute, let me move to the next, I mean, my another personal developer instance. Just give me 1 minute, guys. 1 minute. Can you all now view my another screen? Here you could have seen this discovery identification and the configuration identification, CI identifiers and the identifiers. Let me go and check over here. So these are the identifiers where we're going to create our identification rules, that how the class is going to find the identification of each and every devices. We are going to find it out in the service now. So this particular discovery. So this is the rules where it is going to tell us how we are going to identify each and every thing in the service now. So this is like an CMDB CI identification identifiers where we are going to find each and everything. If you don't find the particular identifiers, you can create the new one as you like. For example, let me create a new one here. You can create a dependent and independent identification rules. For example, I tell you, you are running a discovery and you are finding one of the mission as Windows mission. Along with the in Windows mission, you have a routers also over there. So in that case, you will be finding the router along with the computer. Okay, then you have to find the machine that is connected along with the that particular Windows machine also. Now, if you're doing the discovery in your house itself, for example, for your exploration, you have connected one Wi-Fi with your system, or you connected some of the LAN cable with your system. So what it will happen if you are connecting some other network adapter or network switches within your system, in the sense, it won't find only that laptop. It will help you to find other dependent, devices that are attached with your system. Now I'm going to create a new identifier for the Linux machine. Let me go and create a CMDB CI underscore Linux server. Okay, whether I can choose whether it can be dependent or independent. Dependent in the sense this can be only find in a dependent way. If we give independent in the sense, we have it can be a independent source for some other mission also. Once you find any device, along with that you can find this device also. That is the main key over here. So if I give independent, this will be working as a independent identifier. I'm going to create a Linux identifier entries over here as clicking on new. So what are the criterion attributes that I'm going to select over here? For example, I need to first of all find the serial number of this one. For example, I'm telling you, this is the attribute that has to be matched. So what are the things you need to find out from this one? You can move those things as an identifier to the next phase, and you can close and set the priority.
Explain why this is.
Why this is?
Yeah. So we are adding this identifier for. I mean, what purpose?
Okay, so usually we run discovery room. On that part, only these are the three things that get matched, in the sense. For example, now discovery runs and it finds that that is the Linux server. Now it has to find whether the founded device has been already present in the CA table, else we need to create a new entry. Correct?
Okay.
So what happened? This identifier rules helps the discovery whether if first it will go and match these three attributes in the table: serial number, OS, and version. If it is found whether there is a match with the serial number, OS, and OS version has been already found in the CMDB table, then it will update the record if there is new thing up get things. If it is not presented with this three value, it finds that is the new CI coming from that network. In the sense, it will create a new CI in the table.
More of a unique identifier. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it is kind of a you can say in the transform map you are using the collies and all, correct, for the transform map things and all. So once it if you give the SysID or any kind of serial number as a collies, so it will check whether there is a serial number already present. If it is present, it will update the record. Else, it will create a new record. On the same way, so discovery has something called identifiers in it, which helps to identify the new device or it will update the existing device in the system. Okay. So this is what the identifiers do for us. Okay. If you have any kind of related entries, for example, you know about CMDB serial number, correct? So CMDB serial number has to be give his record one of the whether if you want to place any of the CMDB into the system, first it has to put the record in this particular table. In this particular table, it will put the record, then it will be mapped it out with you. So these are the few things that it has to match with. And these are the few items it is showing that some of the IP ranges has been run in the system, and it is shown that these are the serial numbers has been over here. For example, take an example. I'm taking an example. Let me go and check on that part 1 minute. Check on that part as CMDB underscore sorry CI dot list. Let me have an IP address over here. Okay, 119. It is already there. 7429 225 Okay, let's take this IP address. Okay, and I'm going to run the discovery now. So let me go and run the discovery for this particular one. Discovery schedules. I should not go over here. Where is it? Discovery schedules. I have to come, click on new, quick discovery, give that IP target address as that particular IP address. Now I'm going to run this one. Okay. Now, whenever I run this particular one, it is going to discover this configuration item. But now, if you can see, already we are having this particular IP address in the system, and it has founded how many items? One is Linux server, and another one is the DNS name. Next is the network adapter, IP address, and router interface. Within this IP address, it has found five things in the network. But the main one it founded as this is the Linux server. But how this will find that this is the Linux server? If it is already have a particular entry, it should not give me a duplicate entry, correct? Now, now, if I go and refresh this discovery in the sense, it has completed, started and completed with three things. What it has been saying, first let us check the ECC and this one. Can you see the ECC over here? First, it launches the session probe. In the session probes, everything WMI, Windows, Linux, everything SNNP, everything is has been launched. In that, Unix has been classified and particular Unix pattern launcher has been launched over here. Now, if I come and see this serial number, can you see there is no serial number over here? And it is also doesn't have any kind of serial number over here. If the device has a serial number in the sense, first it will put the entry over here and it will connect the I mean what to say like relationship with that CMDB. Then only this will get appears over here. So this is the table where it comes and find the unique identifiers. The whatever identifiers if we run across the CMDB, sorry, if we run across the serial number, this will come and check it over here only. Okay. People, are you? Can you able to follow me, or it is you're finding any kind of difficulty?
Ma'am, I have one question.
Yeah.
Like you have mentioned like the identifier as a serial number and some more things in that. Okay,
Yeah.
so like we are not able to get all those things like serial numbers and all. So like it will not able to update that particular CI. It will create a new CI, right?
Yes.
So so how can I bring that CI if CI is being not coming through that? I don't
No, I'm
want to
not
create
getting.
new CMM. Like I want to update the similar one.
Hmm. So you have to write 2 to 3 identifier rules for that. Okay. If this is not getting matched, please check this one. If this is not getting matched, please check this one. If the three things get failed, then the classification itself get stopped. Okay. Let me show you that. We are checking out for the Linux server, correct? For the identification rules, if I go and put over here, I could see the new rule what I have given over there, correct? But now, still I can add multiple rules over here, okay? Priority as 150. Now I can choose my asset tag, correlation ID should get matched, then it can take the identifier. This will be the next one. Like this, I can give 2 to 3 identifiers. Each and every identifiers will check for this and this, that role, this and that role, this and that role. So, if we find any kind of some of the topmost priority, then it will allow the CI to get inserted into the system or it will get updated the system. Okay,
Yeah, okay.
that is the thing what we are going to see in the identifier entries. And this is one of the process and the related entries we have already seen. If I give on the add-on like this, okay, Some of the related tables I can call, like I would have say that whenever the Linux thing has been get into the system, you could see the network adapter is also getting find out, correct? In that case, I can create a relationship within these CIs, related entries. I can create the related entries with the network adapters, IPs, or whatever it is. So once I create the relationship, whenever the Linux get runs, it will go and check for that relationship is also available in the system. Okay. Okay, Mac manufacturer. Whenever this thing get runs, it will go and check whether this relationship is also available. To find the relationship, these are the Collies field, or I can say these are the unique identifiers I'm going to have for that particular relationship. Okay, guys, are you all following me? Can you? Is it understandable?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Ma'am, where generally use this related entities? Like, can you give an example, a basic core example?
Basic example is like, as I told you earlier, think about the mostly we do have multiple hardwares connected to the system. Take a laptop. That laptop is connected to the printer. Now, whenever you discover the particular machine, I mean that particular laptop, every time the dependent things, dependent devices has also to be discovered. Correct? We are not going to send a separate probe to discover particular one, which is connected to one another device. In that case, if you write this kind of related entries or related identification, that thing will also identify that particular one also. Okay.
Okay.
Are you getting my point?
Yeah, yeah, I'm getting your point. Okay.
So that is the related entry.
Anything that is related to that particular device will also get
Discovered.
discovered.
Usually, if you see go for this pattern in the sense, no, I can show you that to you. Okay. Just take this and Linux server pattern itself. Okay. Discovery patterns. Okay. Let us check the spin Linux server itself, because it is giving us these things. No, whenever this it finds this particular Linux server along with this same IP address, it is giving us DNS name, network adapter, IP address, and router interface. Four other classes to us, correct? But it is finding only the open port as Linux server only. Can you see over here? It is finding only the open port as Unix machine only, Linux only. But still it could find all these four things extra, correct? But how it is doing in the sense use of this pattern only. Let me show you that. Okay. Okay, let me show you that to you. This is the, okay, whatever pattern as a identification section over here. Whenever this pattern runs, it will find other discovery identification also over here. So whatever identification we are giving as a drag and drop pattern over here, that will be over here as a scripted one. Okay. Okay, guys. So let me go and check what it is coming from the pattern. So this is the one. Patterns I will be explaining you, but I'm going to show you how this configuration item single IP giving you these many classes. Fine. So here if you see over here, the configuration name is self having some differences, but IP address is same. Now there can be an issue, the people can come and say, hey, see, there are duplicate IPs having different names. Could you please go and find? But this is not at all an issue. Okay, under this particular IP address, these many things has been related to this particular Linux server. Here, if you see, these are the libraries, predefined libraries we have over here. Here, can you see it is finding the DNS name? It is getting the DNS name if the IP address is not empty. Here, can you see it is getting the DNS name from the management IP. Management IP in the sense IP that is coming from the host network. IP that is coming from the our client's network. So set the DNS name to the name for the Linux server. DNS name is not empty. In the DNS name, we are setting the name, the value of this particular one as a name to over here. So you can see the DNS name is up to IP 198.51.118.74 is the name of the particular Linux server itself. You are setting this in the pattern. Guys, you can understand this one, correct? This is the field name. This is the value of the name. Okay. What are the other things we have? We have network adapter that has been finded over here. So these are the network adapter functions. If you discover the any kind of network adapter as MAC address or IP address, those things will also be put in this ARP table. ARP table is nothing but the network adapter table. Okay. The next one you can find what are the other things it is configuring. We have seen DNS, network, and IP address. IP address is also a separate table in the organization. Okay. This IP address we will also be updating over here. If we have CPU information, that information will also be storage information. Storage information is also over here. And if there is any cloud has been attached to it, that cloud will also be discovered along with this Linux one. You can see this identity, correct? Linux identity. Let me show you this first. Version name, operational status, everything it is setting up. Identity, it is finding the hardware informations of it. So all these things, if you see over here, update the serial number over here. Whatever things that is coming from the outer system, it is updating in this target table. In the same way, it will update the IP address of the machine also in the particular table. Separate IPs that are transferred from IPv4, everything will be set up from this pattern only. Okay. Now you know, right, with the single IP address how we are finding all these extra dependent devices or related devices, guys.
Yeah, yeah.
So I will be helping you from the next class how you have to write the script and how you have to find all these things. Still we doesn't completed CMDB. We are just starting of the identification rules alone. Still reconciliation is there. Still there is the dependencies. How to create the dependencies within these two things to find which helpful for the pattern to find it, which in order to help the service mapping to be done in the system. All these things we will be seeing in this particular session. Okay. So any questions on this till now?
Ma'am, I
Guys,
have a small question in this. Like, this is the Linux server we are going to we just identify, right?
yeah.
So each and every server is having a different pattern, right?
Yes. If you see
So
over
like,
here, mhm.
uh,
If you see over here, how many patterns you have? 443 patterns you have over here. Okay, 443 patterns we have over here for each and every table of CMDB CI. Okay, so is this was your question or some other thing?
no, like, in Linux server we have put some identification rule, so that is being added in the pattern.
Yes, first it will be helps in the classification section itself. This pattern will be running only in the identification section. Okay.
Okay, okay. Like, we just now we added that thing, like, serial numbers and all those things that will run in which, like, in discovery we have basically four ways, four method.
Yeah,
So
four
in which
phases.
yeah, yeah, in four, in which it will go to the like, we just given the identification, we have mentioned serial number, right? OS
Yes.
number, OS type.
Yeah.
In
So
CA class manager
basically,
we are
if you
providing that
have
everything.
that
So
identifiers
that,
to be defined, okay, I will tell you.
uh-huh.
Before using patterns, these things has been identified separately. This identification will be run on the last phase of the exploration. Some other extra information it will give. Now, once the pattern has been evolved into it, all these things has been carried within that identification section within that Linux pattern itself now. But still, in some cases, pattern will not get run if it is from the other data sources. Okay, like JDBC or from other SQL servers like SCCM, Ivanti, Landup. On that time, that identification rules will be running out. Okay,
Okay, okay.
within the pattern, only for discovery it will run, but for other resources, this identification rules will be running for that separate one what we have written. Okay, are you clear with your answer? Are you clear with the answer?
Yeah, yeah, I'm clear.
Okay.
So
Okay.
for discovering, right, the patterns we had checked it and identified for today's session. Right? So anything apart from that, from an identification perspective, right, that we need to consider before moving on to the other one.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it will do the identification. Yeah.
No, what I'm asking is like, we have now identified, right? That all for identification that which we have, or we will have different other scenarios that which we will come across.
We have classifiers, probe classifiers also with the will become. See, it find that as an Linux, okay, but still it doesn't know what is the version of that. So another small part within this is the classifier, probe classifiers are there. So that is also a small part. So when I go into the discovery, on that time I will show you the discovery logs and explain you about the pattern classifier, sorry, probe classifiers. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So let's meet tomorrow the same time, 10:30, guys. Thanks for joining the session. Thank you so much.
Ma'am, hello,
Yeah, please go on.
hello,
Yes, yes, go on.
hello. Yeah. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah. Ma'am, you just today in the session you just told like we are going to cover the IRE rule. So just now we cover identification only, right?
Yes.
Not reconciliation.
No, no, we doesn't touch the reconciliation yet.
Oh, okay, okay,
We are just started with identification.
okay.
Yeah. Okay, guys. Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye.